run from it, you know? So this is the purpose of this podcast or video. I'm really excited to start with this one because it is the first real intentional podcast that I've done, and it means a lot to me because it's about taking ownership and owning who you are, taking complete responsibility for the situations that you are in life, how you got here, and why you're here. And if it's a good situation, great. If it's a bad situation, you got to change it. And that's what we're here to talk about today. So, this is exciting for me. This is the first time since I've had this roadblock in place, mostly for legal reasons, but kind of just in this life position where I didn't really know what's going to happen. Now, there's still a lot of uncertainty with where I'm personally at in life, but it doesn't mean that I can't create a video on taking ownership of where you are, being 100% accountable, being 100% responsible for your actions and your position in this world. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. So the number one video or podcast that I'm coming out with in this chapter is called Take Ownership of Your Life. And the first thing I wrote in my notes is you are right where you want to be, whether you admit it or not, because that's right where you want to be, subconsciously or otherwise. Whether you admit that to yourself, whether you run from it, it's exactly where you want to be. And so then that's the first step, is identifying it. Like in Alcoholics Anonymous, or it's different things where people are struggling with where they are. The first thing is to come clean, admit it to yourself, admit it to the world. I can't remember exactly how that's put, but it's about just taking ownership and admitting, hey, this is where I'm at. And for me, there's been so much different stuff. The main thing being this whole entire plane situation that I caused for myself, and coming clean about that, completely becoming accountable, being more responsible. And for me, honestly, the whole plane situation, I didn't realize how much of an effect it would truly have on me. But as I look back, I realize that it's my true graduation from boyhood to adulthood. And that's kind of embarrassing to say at 28 years old. I'm 29 now, but that whole situation happened when I was 28. But I realized, like, up until that point, I really wasn't as mature as I am now, of course, but as I could be. And I didn't really realize, one, my power, but two, like what I was capable of doing and how it would affect others around me. And I think I underestimated that. And now to see where I'm at and kind of admit that to myself and be honest with myself is like, feels like the weight of the world's coming off my shoulders, because you can live a lie only for so long. There was like this movie we watched the other night it's a Netflix episode, and it's called Heist. And the first episode is that like some chick that robs a bank truck, or she became a bank armored truck driver and then stole the truck and got away with it for 12 years before she turned herself in. Said she was just living a lie for 12 years, like couldn't stop thinking about it. And that's your own suffering. She put herself in that position, and it's like, you did it to yourself. And for me in this situation, it's like, I didn't realize the effect that it would have. And so for now, I'm excited to talk about it. I'm excited to move on. I'm excited to begin this next chapter. And the first thing that I wrote now is the law of cause and effect. You were led to do certain things because you had certain thoughts, and those thoughts led to certain actions, and those actions led to where you are in your life. No exceptions. Take responsibility. So that's the reality, is that, for me, this situation that I'm going to keep basing back to is the plane thing for this thing. Because right now in this time frame in my life, obviously time goes on and this will pass. Somebody will watch this video in 10 years and be like, what the hell is he talking about? Well, I'm looking at, a really, really big situation. I've been charged with federal terrorist charges, and I didn't realize it would come to this level. But here at this point in my life, it's extremely important for me to navigate very strategically and effectively, because I did not think that I would be in this position, and I am. And so, just realizing that I will be basing back to that. And if somebody's watching this years and years from now, it won't be like seem that big of a deal. But right now in my life, it's a big deal. So, just taking ownership of your life, not living a lie, and then, someday you die. So while you're here, you may as well live your truthful existence. You live your purpose, and that's going to be a beautiful thing. And I guess I'm here to realize for myself that I'm done living a lie. And I haven't lived a lie my whole life, but certain things that I've had to navigate through truly haven't been worth it. And I'm going to dive into some of those stories, some of those details in these notes, so that I hope some of you guys out there can take away from them, learn from them, understand nobody's perfect, and freedom begins when you take complete ownership of who you are. The first thing I started to talk about was some of these examples of like, where am I in my relationship? Where am I in relationships with my family? Where am I in relationship with, my friends, my love, like everybody, business, your passions, like every single relationship in life doesn't need to be a person. It can be with a dog. It can be with, the road. It can be with how you treat people in public. Like that's a relationship to something. And you wonder how many detailed relationships, what are the details of your relationships and how do you treat them? Do you treat them with love? Do you approach them with fear? And really taking a step back and, macro picture, looking at how you see the world and how you navigate in the world. It's a massive, important thing. And the main reason that I'm doing this, and I'm so excited to talk about all this right here as the first official video, podcast, audio, whatever you want to call this, is I did not realize until time went on, a lot of time, months and months or years, that I realized that me not taking ownership of my life was forcing my family and my friends to suffer and my relationships to suffer. And once enough time went on and I could look at it big picture and be like, wow, you didn't realize it because you were in it. You were in the forest. Instead of like seeing it from above the forest, I'm in the trees, which is more zoomed in. And I couldn't see what it was truly doing to my life until the kind of situation has passed. And I'm like, oh, this is all the damage that was done. I didn't realize it was being done. And now it's like, it's not necessarily too late to fix in this situation, but there has been situations like past relationships and stuff where it's just like, it's done. You can't go back. You can only learn for the future. But with this, I'm like, whoa, there's certain situations that can be healed within this. And it all starts with taking ownership of my life. So there's a massive thing. It's super cool. I'm super inspired to be creating videos from now on that are just living my truth, not trying. And I never intentionally, didn't live my truth, but there were certain things that came off and I had to do it in a certain way that I'll never do again. And I had to realize I was like, methodically trying to navigate situations. And that ended up turning into a lie that I didn't realize I created until it was too late.